This is the handover for the Globescout from Globecar. We'll begin at the front of the vehicle. Fuel filler cap, open the main flap. It's not affected by the central locking system. Ignition key in, twist to open. When you go underneath the passenger seat, you've got your access for your 12-volt fuses that are located underneath there. And below the carpet, you've got the access down to your engine battery. Bonnet release is on the end of the dashboard, and to open the bonnet there's a lever in the centre. Pull up on that one and then open up accordingly. Over on the extreme left hand side you've got your screen wash. Underneath these caps you've got your brake fluid, power steering and radiator reservoirs. Oil filler, dipstick's just located just there. And should you ever need to jump start the vehicle, then lift up this flap. You might need to use the tip of the ignition key just to release it, like so. Positive end of your jump leads goes onto there, and the negative goes up onto this location bolt up here. On the driver's side at the very back, you've got your fresh water hatch. So key in, hose pipe straight in, and that allows that onboard tank to fill up with water. So fresh water access is remove the bed part components away, lift off this hatch. You'll notice that there's a rubber wheel over on the right hand side. If you open the wheel 3/4, as the illustration shows, you'll reduce the water level to a 20 litre transit weight. If you open it twice, then it'll completely drain that tank down. For cleaning and checking purposes, maintenance purposes, you've got a removable cap here, so you can add in solvents or cleaners to the main fresh water supply. Make sure it's down nice and tight for departure. On the opposite side to the water system, you have your gas locker. So pop open locker doors there. You'll find the vehicle toolkit in here as well. For travelling, you need to make sure that the gas supply is switched off via the brass knob on top, and it feeds through then into the main body of the vehicle. Further forward into the garage, you've got 3 isolator taps. They're all in a horizontal position, which means they're feeding through to the individual appliances, but you have one for the fridge, one for the hob, and one for the water heating, room heating system. If they're turned through 90 degrees, then it isolates the supply through to that appliance. Access to the toilet cassette is done via a side flap. Lift up and open the main door like so. Within, you'll see a blue lever. Pull up on that blue lever and it should readily pull out. If it doesn't, go back inside and check and make sure that the slider flap is shut. When you get to your disposal point, take the blue cap off to completely, tip the whole cassette up, press in the blue button at the top, and that allows the airflow in, which allows the waste to drain out of the base. Before you load it back in, there's a measuring cup inside the top of the cap, up to a capful of green chemical up here in the Highlands, or a sachet. Mix that with about 2 litres of water, give it a little swirl round, and then load it back in to the body of the van, and it should lock into position. Below the cassette door, you've got your wastewater outlet. So in your little kit, you will have a little handle. You rotate that handle through 90 degrees and it opens a valve underneath the body of the van. That allows the grey water from your kitchen sink and shower to drain off. You have the exhaust port for the water heating, room heating system, so make sure that isn't obstructed in any way. And then adjacent to that, your mains hookup. Plug into the side of the van by lifting the flap to 90 degrees and push in to the socket accordingly, and then connect your socket at the other end. Just inside the sliding door, you have your electric step. The step will have to be retracted before you can depart, otherwise a buzzer will sound. There's no automatic retraction on this one. To operate the sliding door fly screen, use 2 hands and pull the mechanism across like so, and then use 2 hands to retract from either inside or outside the vehicle. When you first step inside the van, directly above your head you have your 12-volt control panel. Because we're currently plugged into the mains, you'll see an amber light. Directly below that you'll see a 12-volt supply switch. So the green light on will give you your 12-volt supply within the van. You can monitor the condition of your leisure battery by pressing the switch at the top. It shows you how healthy your battery is, your fresh water level, and also the grey water level is shown on that bottom indicator. Next door to that, you have your water heating system. Later on we'll show you where the drain valve is located for winter storage, but to turn the water heater on, pressing on the centre black button and you'll see your time clock display. Again, because we're plugged in onto the mains, you'll see that mains light as well. Press the button again and you'll see a series of characters light up. Over on the left hand side, you've got your room temperature control, so press on that one and you can turn the directional controls up or down to choose your room temperature. All the time that it's trying to establish that room temperature setting, you'll see that symbol at the top there on the left hand side begin to flash. Because we're filming on an extremely hot day, it's already found that temperature, so that symbol there has become solid. For the water heating, it's a similar story. Turn it to either the eco or hot mode for the water to heat up, or a boost mode if you're wanting to take the water temperature up from boost if you're wanting to take the water up from eco to hot, you can put it into the boost mode. And again, when you do that, you will see the top symbol up there flash as the water tries to increase the temperature. Energy selection. We're currently plugged into main, so we're using a pure electric mode. We've got two symbols there, so we're using the higher specification for that electric. If you're on a weaker amperage site, you could use it on a lower mode. It will take longer for the water temperature and room temperatures to be achieved. In a wild camping situation, you can use it in a gas mode, or there's a combination mode of using mix 1 or mix 2, which uses both the electric and the gas in a combined format. There's a fan which you can increase to increase the room temperature circulation as well. All of those functions can be controlled via a timer. This also has the iNet system on it as well, so it can be run using a smartphone app also. To turn the systems off, go back to the controls and turn down accordingly, and they will then be deselected and shut off. To turn the whole system off completely, press and hold on the button until you see the off message appear. The water heater drain valve is located underneath the forward facing seat. So when you open up this section on the side, you'll see the drain valve. It's thermostatically controlled, so in the event of the air temperature going below 2 degrees in this space, this valve automatically opens and it causes the water heater to discharge. To reset it, turn it back through 90 degrees and then press the blue switch in, and that should allow it to reset. However, in extreme cold, it won't reset until the airspace here is above 8 degrees, in which case you may need to operate the heating system for a period of time on a dry tank before you can reset that valve. For the gas operation, lift up your lid and use the gas match, which is located in the van, to light up the gas. Bright sunny day, it can be quite difficult to see the flame, so if you're exiting or entering the vehicle, be careful where you place your hands if the hob is in operation. These lids don't come from the factory with safety cutouts on them, so make sure that the flames are extinguished before you fold the lid back down, otherwise it will explode the glass. Earlier on we set up the water heater for you, so when you run the water supply with the 12 volt on, you should, after a period of time, get some hot water coming out of this tap. It takes on average around about 20 to 40 minutes for the tank supply water to heat up, depending on the temperature to start off with. So there's a 3-way fridge fitted onto this Globecar. The controls for it are on the top left hand side. At the moment the dial is up towards the 12 o'clock position, which means that the device is switched off. If you're plugged in onto mains, having made sure that you've got the van level, you should be able to turn it to the first position, which means that you are running on the 240 volt supply. Thermostat on the opposite side, the thicker the line, the colder the appliance will become. When you're traveling from A to B, you can only operate it in this battery mode. The battery mode comes directly from the alternator, it has nothing at all to do with the leisure battery. If you turn off the ignition and walk away from the vehicle, there is no longer a connection from any of the batteries. If you are wild camping then, what you would do is put it into the gas mode. So you turn it down to the 6 o'clock position, and there's a couple of things that you need to do at this end. You will need to put your finger in and push it on the thermostat control, strike the piezo igniter, and when it successfully finds the flame, you should see the little red bar go over onto the green section. Hold it in for a few more seconds and slowly release, and as long as that red bar stays in that green section, then the fridge is lit on gas. In the same way, it's thermostatically controlled, and in the same way, the van needs to be as near level as possible for it to work at its efficiency. The latch mechanism, pushing on the green tab, and that releases the latch. There are 2 positions on it, so that's obviously opening the door. Just before it goes back in, you put it into that position, and it keeps it in a maintenance position for storage. Reduces the chance for the fridge or the appliance to get mouldy. Rear roof light, you have a button that you push in, and then as you pull the handle forward, it slits into different slider positions and then a fully forward position. Never ever travel with the roof light open in any position. Lock it back shut, make sure that the handle goes back behind the button. You have the nighttime use, a blind, and the use of a fly screen as well. The windows in the bedroom area are operated using basic latches. You can push them out for a airflow latch, but they must be fully closed for travel. When you push them out, you've then got a wheel stud, which you can just lock into position, lock both in at both ends to make sure that the window is secure. Release those studs and then make sure that the windows are locked in on the innermost latch. The bathroom and dinette windows are similar to the bedroom ones, except they are now on a ratchet. So when you push out, you'll hear it lock into position for various different locations. To close the window, you need to push beyond the ratchet position and then let the whole window come back in accordingly. The central roof light has a winding handle onto it. So when the roof light is fully closed, you'll see a little red tab up into there. As you begin to unwind, the tab is released and you can wind the roof light up to any position up to around about 60 degrees at angle. To wind it back in, turn the handle the other way and make sure that the handle lock position comes back into position like so, and then fold the handle back into the socket. Again, blind and fly screen for your convenience. For the toilet cassette operation, you have a swivel bowl so you can maneuver it into a set position. There's a lever on the right hand side of the bowl when you're sat on it to pull open, and then to flush the toilet, press in on the button like so, and that allows water to come from the main onboard fresh water tank around the inside of the bowl. Over on the back of the toilet, you will see a float gauge that will gradually turn to red as the cassette fills up. Close over your lever to stop any smells or odours from travelling back up, and also for the removal of the cassette. Bathroom roof light, gently pull down on the mesh, and then when you squeeze in on the brown tabs, it allows you to push the roof light up accordingly, and it can be tilted into any desired position. But for travel, critical, must all be down and into the lock position for safe use. So when you sit into the cab position and turn the ignition on, you'll see your indicator lights come on the display as norm. Controls over on the right hand side include your headlamp beam adjustment and your rear fog lamps. You can use the mode button to access the main menu. Stalk control on this end is for the wipers and for your screen wash. On the driver's door, you've got electric mirror and electric window controls. So by adjusting the toggle, you can then maneuver the mirror accordingly. All 4 mirrors, the blind spot mirrors as well, are adjustable. Left-hand stalk controls. The bottom one is for your cruise control and speed limiter. The top one for your side lights, dipped headlights, main beam, and also for your indicators as well. Reverse on this model is up on the central collar, and push the lever over and away from you. Ventilation controls, speed of the fan and temperature on the top and bottom, and then your adjustment from outside to recirculate, and your directional controls for the direction of the fan within the van if required. Heated mirrors, central locking button for the cab and sliding doors, hill descent and traction controls are also available on this one as well. The stereo is a radio CD player which is located here. It can't be operated unless the ignition is on. When the ignition is turned off, you will hear successive bleeps indicating that the front panel has been left in. That front panel can be removed for security purposes. And also located on that front panel is a USB slot as well. There's an additional USB charging point and a 12-volt charging point on the front of the dash. The blinds in the centre are designed to magnetically clip together, and then when this goes back into the body of the van, clip back into position for safe transit. You have side window blinds as well. Squeeze the tab together and these will pull across for nighttime or daytime use. So there's a pop-up clipboard on the centre of the dashboard. A firm tug should release that to allow you to use tablet or possibly mobile phone. You can release the side lever and put a device into there and then lock it over, push it back down. Also on the top of the dashboard you have an additional ventilation, an additional glove box. Into here you will find your satellite navigation system which can be installed, but also this one is ventilated and connected up to the air conditioning system. So that concludes the handover for your Globecar Globescout. Sincerely hope that you've learnt lots of things in the course of this presentation. I hope this van's going to give you lots of miles and lots of smiles. On behalf of Fine and Camper Vans, thank you for watching.